All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone, to our fiscal year 2025 volunteer virtual orientation. We are so thankful to have so many dedicated Bates Fund volunteers joining us today. We have volunteers from across the generations, from the 1960s all the way up to our most recent alumni and newly minted class of 2024 volunteers. So welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for all you do for Bates. My name is Emily Bray Levine. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Assistant Vice President for Annual Giving. In my role, I oversee parent giving and engagement. I oversee our Bates Fund team and reunion. It's a really exciting and rewarding space. While I've been in my current role for just 5 months and look forward to meeting you all as part of my first year in this role, I recently passed my 6-year mark here at the college. I have headed up parent giving and engagement, so I've already actually connected with some folks in the room today in your role as Bates parents. I'm excited to bring the campus partnerships that I developed in that role to this work in the Bates Fund, where all of us, whether staff or volunteers, are looking for specific ways we can illustrate the impact of alumni giving on Bates today. More broadly, I've been in advancement for over 20 years and am the beneficiary myself of a liberal arts education, and it's truly a pleasure to be part of the Bates community. A few housekeeping notes before we begin. This session will be recorded. We will post it behind a password, and all volunteers, whether you make it to the end of the call, have to hop out, or weren't able to join us live in person today, you'll all receive a link and password once the files are ready. Just so you know, that process usually takes 48 to 72 hours, so that's when you can expect to see that. On that password protected site, we'll also include a list of any links we discuss, any resources we mentioned, so you don't need to worry if you miss taking a note or two. We'll have all of that in one place for you. We'll also, over the next couple of weeks, make sure that anything we talk about that also should live in Give Campus for your resource makes it there. We want to make it always very easy for you to have the tools to do this important work for the college. And finally, we hope that you will feel free to ask questions. We have set time aside for Q&A. A lot of folks pre-submitted questions, so thanks for that. If you didn't do that and have a question about anything you hear today, you can use the Q&A function to ask questions during the session. As always in a webinar, we get to as many as we can. If you have a really specific question about your assignments or your class, we may have your staff liaison follow up with you, but we'll certainly do our best to give you all the information we can today. So you know what to expect from the session itself. We'll start out hearing from Eric Fouché, our Vice President for College Advancement. Eric will share an overview of our results last year writ large, as well as priorities for the college for the coming year. After that, you'll hear from me again with some Bates Fund specific information. We'll hold a short Q&A at that point, and then move right into a Give Campus training overview with Amy Jefferson, our Director of Bates Fund Operations. We did have some great Bates Fund questions, some great Give Campus questions submitted ahead of time, and Amy's ready to address those in her segment of the portion. Now, as I mentioned, we will start by hearing from Eric Fouché, Vice President for College Advancement. Eric joined Bates 11 years ago, and he's a 2-time Bates parent. He has over 25 years of experience in advancement. He has served as a mentor and speaker at higher education fundraising conferences, and he was instrumental in the success of the recent Bates campaign. Eric, thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thanks, Emily. I really appreciate it, and it's great to be with all of you today. So my goal today is to, really dive into some quick campus updates, talk about the year ahead, and where the college is headed in the next year as we prepare for another campaign. And last year was a highly successful year. I really appreciate all of your support and efforts as volunteers of the college. We finished, as you may have already noted, at over $31.2 million in gifts and commitments, and just shy of 40% participation. So another fantastic year at the college. So why don't I jump in quickly and give some Bates updates on a few things that are probably topical at the moment, and then we can pivot into goals for the coming year. So in terms of admissions, if you go back to slide, Emily, yep, thank you. If we look at admissions, we had a banner admissions year. So we had record applications, over 10,000 applications to the college, which is an all-time high. And we had a 13% admit rate. Also, one of the, it was a difficult class to crack into. And so both of those things are records. And probably most notable in our admissions process is that we had the most diverse class in college history. And we had a 5% increase in the diversity metrics, despite the SCOTUS decision, the Supreme Court decision over a year ago. And really, I think that's a testament to Bates, who we are as an institution, but all the hard work that has gone on in admissions. And we really focused on the recruiting side, going out into those populations, those schools, to recruit the most diverse class. And then we focused on the backside, which is the yield side. And really, once students were admitted, really, encouraging those students to come to the college. Two places that are not covered by that Supreme Court decision, because as you remember, race cannot be considered in that admission decision. So, but we had a fantastic year. If you would like to know more about demographic information, you can go to the institutional research site of Bates. They have a new portal there. You can look at some of the details about demographics, and how that diversity particularly shapes up within that. So we had a banner admissions year. Rankings, we are now in a ranking season. And many of you have probably seen those come out quite frequently now. But the biggest ones remain U.S. News and Niche. And so in U.S. News and World Report, we were ranked 26. We were down 2 spots from 24 last year. Just to give you a quick overview, Williams College topped the list, while Amherst finished second. Bowdoin College finished tied for 5th with Pomona. Wellesley College finished 7th. Smith College tied for 14th with Wesleyan. Middlebury College tied for 19th with Washington and Lee. Colby was 25th, and we were tied for 26th with McAllister. If you keep going, the College of the Holy Cross finished at 28th. Mount Holyoke tied for 34th with Occidental. So we're still punching way ahead of our weight class, particularly since the U.S. News and World Report is so financially driven in terms of endowment per student or endowment per faculty member. So our endowment ranks us pretty close and barely in the top 50. So we're punching way above that weight class in terms of being ranked 26. And a lot of that has to do with our graduation rate, where we are ranked 14th out of all liberal arts colleges, and our academic reputation. And as I say on the road to many people, if we only had the endowment of a Williams or an Amherst, I firmly believe that the college would easily be in the top 5 colleges in the country. So I think, U.S. News Report, we continue to perform in a good, solid way, especially given our finances. But more and more, we are looking at Niche, which you're probably less familiar with, but Niche has really become the student metric. They're the ones, that's the ranking that the students or incoming or prospective students are really looking at, in terms of, when it comes to college and thinking about going to college. And we are ranked 17th this year. And that actually was a positive increase. We went up from 20, we were 22 last year, we are now 17th. So we've done exceedingly well in this category. And this is the best liberal arts college category. And they do a little bit of a report card, an ABC type of rankings. But we had A's in food, we had A in academics, we had A in value, and we had A in diversity. So we're doing very well in Niche, and these two really stand out. But you'll see all kinds of rankings this time of year. Just on some other asides, we did improve in Forbes rankings of the best college, which combines both liberal arts and universities. We moved from 127th to 80th. And in the Washington Monthly's best liberal arts colleges, we went from 39 to 28. Though I know some of you probably saw the Wall Street Journal one where we were ranked 376. We weren't even ranked the year before, but that was a lot to do with surveying that they do and how many surveys were completed. So this is sort of a sore spot, I would say, in that I don't think we really give a lot of credence to their metrics. They use a lot of SAT scores as predictive modeling for future wealth. But we're in good company. Just to give you an example, Smith in the Wall Street Journal was ranked at 412. So that's the rankings, lots of rankings coming out in various categories. But again, I would say focus on the US News World Report one and niche. Those are the best ones that we sort of tend to put the most credence into. So the last topic from campus that I thought I'd mention is just changes in our senior leadership team. We are going to be welcoming Kristen Lansbury from Earlham College to be the VP for comms and marketing. She was at Providence and the University of Maine and has a great background both as a reporter, but also focused on general communications, emergency, crisis management, and marketing. So we're in the process of really beginning a marketing push with the admissions office to sort of how to position Bates in the marketplace. So I think she'll add a lot of great insights to that. I think the other part there, she'll be a great partner for advancement as we push out better communications from our office, both for the Bates Fund, but for an upcoming campaign, and really show and demonstrate the impact of the college or giving on the college and how it benefits students and faculty, and really hopefully let donors experience that more firsthand. So those are the Bates College updates that I thought I'd throw out this morning. In terms of advancement goals, so we're going to build on that success that we had last year. I mean, we had a record-breaking annual fund, we had record-breaking FBA, we had, we built Russell Field. We had some great success. So the advancement goals are on the screen here, which is we're going to build on that cash total. So $25 million plus from all sources. We will build on sort of total gift activity, which includes pledges, bequests, all of those factors, which we hope to exceed $32 million next year in total gift activity. And for the annual fund, and Emily will speak to this a little bit later, we're looking at a goal of $8 million. So those are the financial goals for the year ahead in advancement. And Emily, go to the next slide, please. So, we're looking at, sort of four main areas that I would say that we're sort of focused on in this coming year. The first is not necessarily an advancement goal, but a college goal. And that is strategic planning for the institution. And President Jenkins has really going to take us into about an 18-month strategic planning process. We've hired an outside consulting group to help us structure how we'll approach that strategic planning process, but it will be an internal process. We will have internal committees. The faculty and staff will be engaged in that process. But it's an important one because it really lays the foundation of all future priorities to the college and really sort of sets the stage for where, building on President Jenkins' vision, where we're going to go as a college in terms of finite priorities. And really, that then is the foundation of our next campaign. And it's also meant in many ways to sort of galvanize the community, both internally and externally, around Gary's vision, have us come together and find places where we can really make strides for Bates and position it for the future. And this will run parallel to campaign planning. So we will begin campaign planning as an advancement office this year. We'll be testing these goals as they emerge from strategic planning, and we'll develop collateral materials and priorities based on what we're learning from strategic planning. So Emily, go to the next slide. So we have three main priorities and goals this year. So, and these will all be part of a strategic plan in many ways. I think they are early priorities that Gary knows that we need to achieve and is focused on. And I think, many of you probably at the inaugurational speech or at a welcome reception probably has heard Gary speak about these things. But one of the most foundational ones is equalizing the Bates experience. It's roughly a $10 million plus endowment effort. And this is to build on our strength of getting students here and our access, which will always remain a big priority. But this is to take it to another step, which is it's one thing to get students here, but we want to ensure that they can take advantage of everything that Bates has to offer, and to really to immerse themselves in the Bates experience and not be constrained by the financial realities that some of these students may have. And so we're thinking about it in terms of three sort of moments. So if you look at the beginning of a student's career, we're talking about building a computer fund of about $1 million to start with, and certainly that can grow. But this would allow us to attend to some of the students arriving here with the lowest type of family contribution, and maybe some of the highest need, but they may come with a laptop computer, but that might be the $200 or $300 laptop from from a local store, and it's probably no better, it's only good really for word processing. It's a glorified typewriter. So we need to make sure that they are equipped with a high-powered, $1,800+ laptop, that can run the complex math programs or the complex econ or psychology programs, so that they can take advantage early on of everything that the academic experience, that awaits them here. So then if we shift to the sort of the middle years or their middle experience or most of their experience, I think there's three funds that we're going to focus on. So the emergency fund, which has existed before, but we need to endow that, to make sure that there is revenue and opportunity for students that may need a root canal, or maybe need to get home for a funeral, or whatever the emergency might be, but purely in an emergency form, that there's a resource and a guaranteed resource that they can tap into. The second fund here is what we're calling the Opportunity Fund. This is slightly different. And again, these numbers are to start with, but that doesn't mean we would end there. So at least a $2 million fund. And what I mean by opportunity here is instead of having to request money just for an emergency, they can request money to take advantage of something that they wouldn't be able to do normally, whether that's travel for an internship or a shadow program, maybe get a new suit for that job interview. Maybe it is just to join the ski club and have that resource to be able to participate. Maybe that is going out with friends and having some social money. Whatever is meaningful to them, whatever makes that their experience, I think that's what the Opportunity Fund is designed and helpful for. And then the third part, which is something that's not necessarily new, but I think belongs here, which is we need to continue to push out purposeful work internships. This is how we can equalize the experience, what they can, to get students internships, regardless of their ability to take a unpaid internship specifically. Gary often uses the example of his brother who works for the Buffalo Bills. If you want to be in sports, you probably have to start that career by taking an unpaid internship. But to live in Buffalo for a summer, try to make money for college, we want to make sure that they have a resource where we can have Bates provide some of those grants to make that unpaid internship possible. And purposeful work gives away about 125 of these a year, but we could easily double that. So we're going to put purposeful work internships and internships broadly here in equalizing the Bates experience. And then on the backside, as they get into senior year and beyond, that, advanced studies and a fund to help students who want to take the MCAT or the LSTAT. Those are incredibly expensive courses to take, but also applying to those schools is incredibly expensive. And so to make sure that that students aren't hindered financially by that process, we want to create this graduate fund. So that's equalizing the Bates experience. So the next part is really athletics. And a quick moment on this, because Gary's been talking about athletics, the athletics action plan. I think it's important to note before we get into the priority this year is that we've done a lot of work around athletics in the past year. We have resolved some issues with the FBA gift accounts. You will see this year as volunteers, that when someone makes a gift to whatever sport through FBA, that 10% of that gift will go to an equity and excellence fund across all teams, and all the coaches are behind this. This is to address some Title IX issues at the college, but it's also to allow teams to be able to really spend their money fully, and at the same time allow a fund where all teams are lifted up. So there's been some changes to how FBA accounting is going, but I think this will make it much more equitable and make it stronger for athletics broadly. The college invested quite a bit of money in equalizing our assistant coaching pay this past year and for this current year. And what that means is all of our assistant coaches were being paid hourly. Some of them were being paid less than what you could make at a Starbucks. Now they are exempt positions, paid at NESCAC rates, which I think in time, because these are the chief recruiters, they have a lot of connections to our students, that this will not only bring talent to the college, but build consistency across all of our team. And then facility upgrades we have invested in. As I mentioned before, we just came online last week, I guess, with Russell Field, which is a lighted turf field to replace the grass field there. That sparked so much momentum that yesterday they broke ground on an infield turf field for baseball. And if you go forward, our next target, and the target that I really wanted to talk about today, was a new fitness center, a fitness and well-being center for the college community. And this, if you kind of orient yourself, this building would sort of sit between alumni and Gray Cage. It connects the two. It sits right in the heart of campus, right, adjacent to Commons, adjacent to Chase Hall, across from the library. It's for all students, and it will elevate not only the athletic platform, but I think give all students, and we have almost 80% of our student body works out on some level every day, much more space. And Emily, if you go to the next slide, I think this helps. So currently we have about 8,000 square feet of fitness, which is split between Merrill and Underhill. And that in itself is problematic, because what Planet Fitness do you go to where you work out on cardio and then have to go outside and down the street to get to the weight room? So that is problematic to begin with. But it's also, we're trying to have 31 teams train in there. We're trying to have a campus community work out in there, and it's just insufficient. So the space that I just described between alumni and Gray would add about 8,500 square feet of new fitness space, which would attend to everybody. It would be, cardio and weights. It would be a multi-purpose room for yoga, but it would also include coaches' offices and some new locker rooms, which would obviously directly benefit athletics. And, in the end, we're not going to take the old stuff offline. So what you're going to end up with is a Davis weight room where maybe a football team could work out, but not impinge on everybody else's ability to work out at the same time. So that, I'm going to go forward. So that is a huge priority. It's a $35 million project. The school is going to invest $10 million into this project. So we have a fundraising goal of 25 million. We are in the nucleus phase of building that. We're making some great progress. You'll hear more and more about this facility as the year goes on. And, please reach out to me if you have specific questions about it. But it's going to take all of us, and it's a very important piece of the pie. And I just wanted to end on the last priority, which is always a priority and never ending one, which is mostly what you're involved in, is the Bates Fund. And the Bates Fund is, our bread and butter. It's foundational in every respect. It supplements tuition. We are not charging. You probably get this question. How is it that you can charge so much money and still ask for gifts? But the reality is we are not charging what it actually costs to attend the college. And so annual gifts, both from alumni and parents, are critical to the budget. And essential support, and it's really the margin of excellence for the college. It's what differentiates it. And so we really need people, and you've heard Gary talk about moving to a culture of philanthropy. We need people to move into a space where they are making their best gifts, that they're stretching for the college. Participation is wonderful, but we need people to stretch. The college deserves to be in that top echelon of U.S. News and World Report. It deserves to be a $10 million fund, and we need people to think about MDS and grow their support. So those are the three priorities for the coming year. And I can't thank you enough for all that you're doing for the college and what you do both as ambassadors for the place, but also asking your peers to support an institution we all love. So I will stop there, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Great. Thanks, Eric. That's so helpful as we think about the context in which we are talking with alumni and getting them excited about the future of Bates. Thank you. I am keeping an eye on our time and want to make sure to add some context and color about the Bates Fund pieces. I know folks are also thinking about some of the gift campus pieces that we're going to get to. I always find it helpful at the beginning of the year to have the reminder out there that Bates Fund giving includes any unrestricted annual gifts to the college. FBA gifts are counted into the Bates Fund total. Any big bucket designations. So I might make a gift to the Bates Fund and ask that it go toward this year's spendable financial aid budget. Those elements all combine to create our Bates Fund total. Gifts that are counted in other places and so would not be part of the Bates Fund total are things like a gift to a field renovation. If I have a class scholarship fund and want to make a gift into that scholarship, into the corpus, that wouldn't be part of the Bates Fund dollar totals. Certainly, of course, counts for participation, but I always find it helpful to sort of level set at the end, at the beginning of the year, because we know that folks ask you. I would say, again, knowing that the Bates Fund is a significant priority for the college, one of the things that I'm so excited about for Bates is that we have such a strong, healthy base fund. When we benchmark to our peers, we're significantly at the top on participation, and we are solid middle of the road on dollars. So we have a great base from which to build. We have a lot of people that we know are invested in the success of Bates. One of the things that's interesting when we look at, overall, the Bates Fund is going up over the past 5 or 6 years. When we look at the alumni percentage of gifts into the total, because we know that both parent gifts and alumni gifts count to the overall total, but the alumni giving portion of the overall fund is actually trailing down a little bit. And so when we think about that, we think about where is our opportunity? Where is our opportunity to make gains, not only in solidifying giving loyalty trends among your classmates, among our population, but that we see that maybe our reunion messaging or our stretch for Bates, help do your best gift for Bates, that those are our opportunities to turn that trend around, to think about how we are being ambassadors for giving Bates the margin of excellence that we all know that it deserves. So that, I would say, is the sort of big pieces. And one of the great elements that we know is at play there is all of you, and thinking about how personalized you make this process for Bates and for your classmates. There are other institutions who do not have the robust volunteer population that we do. So this is a real strength for us, and making sure that we're doing our part to partner with you so that you have the tools you need to tell that story and get your classmates excited. The other piece I would say around this, Eric mentioned stretching for Bates, the Mount David Society gifts. Again, we see that that's a huge opportunity for us, that even with this overall growth, we know that folks that we're still spinning our wheels a little bit in the reunion or leadership giving, Mount David Society giving space. And I think that's really just a storytelling disconnect. And so it's wonderful to have all of you working with us about how we can share stories of impact that are true across the board, no matter what folks' giving level is, but that it helps to vault them beyond thinking about what was Bates like for me, and think about what is the true impact that I can have on the Bates of today and on the future. So we're really excited to make sure that you have the tools you need to do that, to make sure that we're giving you the support to do that, and that we're also amplifying those messages in everything that we do with the college. So the other pieces that I would say when we think about how we're going to support you all, this, I hope, is going to be a really helpful moment as you think about the larger context for Bates. I know that the midwinter webinar that we have about the college finances is always very helpful. And so keep an eye out for that. That's something that we usually do after the calendar year break, and is a really helpful deep dive into both the impact of annual giving, the impact of alumni support, and how it fits into the larger picture of college finances. So please keep an eye out for that. And then I hope that you are, I know that you are hearing from all of your Bates Fund staff liaisons, and we're really here to help you. To help you make sure that you have the tools you need to ask, to help you know that if there are questions that you don't feel equipped to answer, we're here for you to help field those, and also to understand how we can support you and support alumni better with those stories of impact. Those are really elements that we want to put into your hands and that we want folks to be really conversant with and excited about. As we think about how we're going to support you over the year, I know that you all are accustomed, or for our new volunteers, you will become accustomed to hearing from your staff liaisons every month with a monthly update. We want to package that for you with some of these impact stories so that all year long, you're hearing about the impact of your own gifts debates, and you can transmit those exciting, compelling stories to folks in your classes. I am conscious of our time and of the Give Campus pieces. I also want to make sure that we take a look. This is a great question about key dates. Yes. As we think about key moments when we're messaging to your classmates, when we're messaging across the alumni population, we know that fall is a time when many Bobcats are in the habit of making their gifts. So as you hear from your staff liaisons, there will be some pockets of time this fall when we're in touch with folks. Certainly the Great Day to Be a Bobcat in March, and then the FBA Challenge in early May are key moments. And then, of course, for our reunion volunteers, there are really exciting pieces in the run up to reunion. So we'll get all of those confirmed dates as part of our follow-up to you and as part of our overall schedule to you. So thank you for that. Before we move into the Give Campus section, I know our staff has been busy in the Q&A. Hopefully you've heard some answers to your pre-submitted questions. Are there other questions that folks have before we get into the nitty-gritty of how you all are in touch with folks all the time on behalf of Bates? I don't see any, but I'm going to keep an eye out, and I'm happy to answer those as we get into the Give Campus part of our session. And I will say that even for folks who are Give Campus super users, Amy has a fantastic tip for you. I don't want to be too headline buzzy for you, but Amy has a really fantastic tip so that even if you've been using Give Campus for a while, this is a great way to add that personalization that we know is the key for people feeling like they want to make that leap for Bates. They want to make their best gift for Bates. So Amy, thanks for taking the time to walk us through some of these tools and give us some even more exciting and nuanced ways to do this work for Bates.
Thank you so much, Emily. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Jefferson. I'm Director of Bates Fund Operations here on campus. It's so nice to see, quote unquote, see many of you virtually. Thank you for all that you do for the college and for the Bates Fund. So I'll be giving a quick walkthrough of our online volunteer platform, Give Campus, which I know many of you are familiar with. And as Emily mentioned, I will be giving a tip at the end to elevate your use of the platform at the end if you have been a user for a long time. Before I dive in, I'll remind everyone that your Bates class liaisons are here as resources. If you ever have any granular questions about how to use or better leverage the platform, please don't hesitate to reach out to us anytime. We're always happy to help you or find an answer for you. So I'll start at the beginning. For those who are new to the platform, to log into your GiveCampus account, you'll visit givecampus.com. We've actually gone ahead and made an account for everyone, and your username is your email address, and you'll simply create your own password after clicking this login button at the top right-hand side of your screen. So you'll log in, use your email address as your username, set your own password, and then you should be able to access the platform. So once you're in the platform, this is what you are greeted with. At the top, you will see a dashboard of your assignments fundraising progress to date. And if you scroll down, you'll also see some stats on your class's overall fundraising progress to date. After you've selected assignments for the year, and your class liaison will walk you through that process for selecting assignments, when to do so, how to go about it, all of their information will appear below. Your list of assignments appears here, and if you're curious to look into a specific person's giving information and giving history, you can simply click on their name, and everything will populate below, including a suggested ask amount for the year ahead, as well as their giving history, what they've supported in the past, and their participation level. So I'm going to highlight the three main functionalities within the platform. We're of course happy to go into deeper dives with you on a one-on-one basis, but just wanting to be mindful of everyone's time today, I'll focus on the highest level pieces. And those are selecting classmates to reach out to over the course of the year, notifications, and then also email, reaching out to your assignments when the time comes. So I'll start by walking you through the process for selecting and looking for assignments. So to do so, you'll click on Search Constituents on the left-hand side of your navigation bar, and you'll be greeted with a list of your class. And you can use the Advanced Search button here if you check off this little box. Say you're curious to look for folks who studied economics with you on campus. You simply type in economics, hit the search button, and the list will automatically narrow down to those who studied economics with you. I'm just going to clear that for now. When you are ready to select your assignments, you will simply click on the Garnet Assign to Me button on the right-hand side. So you can scroll through the list. If there's anyone you're interested in reaching out to this year, click Assign to Me and you'll be paired automatically. You will note here that there are some folks that are listed as unselectable. That could be due to a number of factors. It could be that they're already in conversation with someone at Bates, and we're trying to avoid redundancy. It could be that they've asked to not be contacted about philanthropy at Bates, or it could be that they've already been selected by another class volunteer. So we're trying to avoid duplication. If you ever have questions about a specific instance, please don't hesitate to reach out to your class liaison here on campus. A couple of more advanced features here I just want to highlight. If you're looking to select assignments and you know that you want to make the biggest impact by reaching out to someone who has been involved in the past 5 years or so, you can toggle this filter that says made a gift in past 5 years. That will narrow the list down to either true or false. And you can also toggle here by whether or not someone has an email address on file. Any information that we have on campus for contact information is fed into GiveCampus every single night. And so if someone does not have an email address listed here, it's because Bates does not know what it is. You might know what it is, and feel free to share that with your class liaison. We'll make sure to make an update. So when you're ready to pick assignments, again, simply look through your list. Feel free to narrow down by the advanced search, toggle by these various filters, and then click Assign to Me for those you would like to pair with. I'll move on to notifications very quickly. There's nothing much to see at the moment. But after you select your assignments, if someone makes a gift to the Bates Fund, you will receive an automatic notification. You'll receive that notification in 2 places. In GiveCampus, there will be a little yellow button here that appears that says one gift. But it will also send an email to you automatically. So you don't need to worry about logging into GiveCampus every day or every week to check on your assignment's giving progress. You will receive a notification in your email. It will say that your assignment has made a gift. Please log into GiveCampus to view the details and to send a quick thank you note. And now I'll focus primarily on email. This is where you'll be spending, I would say, the majority of your time in GiveCampus throughout the year when it comes time to contact your assignments during our key outreach periods. So when you click on email, you'll be greeted with a number of pre-built email templates at the top here. They are highlighted in garnet as you scroll over. Simply select an email template that you would like to use. And very often your class liaison will share what they recommend to use for a template at a certain point in the year. So for example, if I click on this October, November outreach period template, you will be greeted by an editable text box here at the left. I highly recommend that you adjust at least the first line of every single email that you send. We see that the response rate and click rates are much higher for those that are personalized, even with just a line, so that someone knows it's you, a real person from Bates, their classmate emailing instead of a cyborg. So if you do make adjustments, you will see the adjustments in real time on the right-hand side. You see a preview of what the email will look like. And with all of our Give Campus email templates, they're formatted to automatically pull in each person's name. It'll pull in your class year if that's part of the email template. It will also pull in their suggested ask amount, as well as your email signature at the end. And again, you can adjust any and all of this text. We want to make sure that this is authentic and sounds like it's coming from you. So please, we encourage you to personalize minimally that first line. So when you feel like your email is good to go, you'll simply scroll down and a list of all of your assignments will appear below. If you know who you would like to send it to already, you can simply check off their name, scroll down, you can send a test to yourself in advance if you would like to see, and then hit send email, and it will automatically pull in John's name, John's ask amount, and any relevant information and send it to him. If he responds, that correspondence will then continue in your personal email. So Give Campus is pushing out this initial email. Any subsequent conversation will take place in your own personal email account, so you don't need to worry about logging into Give Campus to see if someone has responded to you. To get a little bit more advanced, I do want to highlight the filters that are listed below your recipient box. Some volunteers are very savvy in terms of using these filters, and we do recommend that you use them just to personalize the experience even more. So say that you have edited your email template and you've added in a line that is geared towards someone who has given loyally to Bates, someone who is a member of our Garnet Circle. They've given 5 or more consecutive years or every year since graduation for the youngest 5 classes. If you would like to narrow down your assignment list easily and quickly to show who is a member of Garnet Circle, you can simply just click this Garnet Circle filter and the list will narrow down for you. Now, John and Christy are members of the Garnet Circle, which is why their names remain. You can also layer filters on over each other. So say you want to include this message about loyal giving, you want to make sure it's only being sent to those who have not yet made a gift. You can also layer on this has not given filter and the list would narrow down. They have not yet made a gift, so they're still remaining. But I'll show you what it looks like if I toggle on a filter and it does remove someone. I promise it works. They just happen to fall into my examples. So highly recommend utilizing filters as you look to personalize your email templates. I will say we do receive some feedback on occasion that formatting of emails sometimes gets or looks a little bit wonky in the test. We've been working with Give Campus and they've made a lot of improvements in this space. If you do continue to see any, please feel free to let us know. And then the one final tip I will share with everyone, especially for those who have been using Give Campus for a period of time and want to elevate their usage, is the use of tags. So Give Campus is wonderful in that you can send a large group email at once, but if you really want to hone in and reach out to specific groups within your assignment list, I recommend using tags. So say, for example, I have 10 assignments and 5 of them live together with me in Smith South my first year. We have a lot of stories about living together in Smith South, and I always like to include a little bit of note in my email templates to that group specifically. There's a way that you can tag and identify those 5 assignments as Smith South people. So then you can send a personalized email to them. So what you would do is back at the beginning, if you scroll down and you identify someone that you would like to list as a member of Smith South, click on their name. If you scroll all the way down, you see this field that says tags. You can enter in the name of your tag, hit create tag. And then when you go to email, say you adjust your email template, You reference a memory you shared about living together in Smith. Now you see below your recipient list, there's a tag that says Smith South. If you click on that, it narrows it down to John, who I just did as an example. You can have as many tags as you would like. You can layer them with filters as well. So definitely recommend that you explore this, give it a try as you're personalizing and using email templates throughout the course of the year. That is what I had for an update for all of you. Of course, always happy to answer any questions that you have about Give Campus. Oh, great question from Debbie. Debbie asks, Debbie's chosen classmates in the past. Are they kept, or do you have to begin again to choose classmates? This is a great question. At the end of every year, we send out a volunteer survey to volunteers. And within that, we've asked folks if you would like to keep your assignments from last year or pick new ones this year. For those who took the survey and indicated that you would like to keep your assignments, those have been rolled over for you. If you did not take the survey, please don't worry. We do have record of your assignments from last year, so simply reach out to your class liaison and we can be sure to reassign you to those same assignments this year. All right, I'll turn it back over to you, Emily.
Great. Thank you, Amy. I always love a deep dive on Give Campus. And I am mindful of our time, so I want to thank each and every one of you for making time for Bates today, and for all of your efforts on behalf of Bates. Our team is so excited to work with you and to support you as you encourage classmates to make their best gift for Bates. We know that participation and stretch giving are not an either or, but are a both and. We're really excited to collaborate with you to help demonstrate both the impact that regular and loyal giving has and the difference that leadership giving has. Your staff liaisons will be following up with you on next steps, and we appreciate all that you'll be doing for us this fall. We also appreciate your thoughtful approach to making your own best gift for Bates before December 31st so that you can serve as a model for your classmates. Again, thank you so much for all that you do. For our team, working with volunteers like each of you makes every day a great day to be a Bobcat. Thanks so much.